Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. Working on the 37 here. If you didn't check out the first video, go check that one out first so you can see how we got to the step we're at now. In this video, it's just gonna be floors, fuel tank, making some panels for the factory seams. If you have any questions, hit us up on Instagram. We got a Facebook account too, and leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Alright, so today we're just gonna be trimming off the drip rails all the way down and around, welding what we need to weld up, and then finish it out. And we'll be taking some big nasty dents out of the roof, getting the whole roof nice and flat. Alright, got the drip rail all cut off, cleaned up, ground it back down in there. Worked the dent out a lot more than what had been before, but now we're gonna go through and weld up this seam all the way around the car. Alright, so I didn't have the GoPro before, but I got the old floor cut out. We're going to be making a new one. Got the body mounted back in where the doors will fit. Got the old rocker cut out. I've already started making the new rocker. It's pretty simple, just two 90s, one smaller than the other. And we're just going to stick it in the shrinker and shrink it to get it to curve. Alright, got the new rocker put in. Just a little simple guy. Next step's going to be the floor. So what we're going to be doing here is just following the factory contour of the floor here, but then we're going to put some beads in that follow the pipe all the way around. And then it's going to come to about here and then swoop around the transmission. We're going to have about a 5-inch tunnel all the way back. And we'll have another bead roll here, just a little triangle, and then there's going to be a little square bead roll back here. So I've got most of it laid out on the metal already. I gotta add a little piece of metal here to get the front of the floor pan in. That's about it. Just gonna get that other piece put on and then slap it in the bead roller. Got the other piece added on here. TIG welded it up, flashed it out. Next step, we're just gonna use these guys here and run the beads. We're gonna step them up so they don't interfere with the frame and all that. Alright, we got the floor in. Got a hole cut out for the master here. Still needs a little bit of trimming. It's a little close to the sensor, but other than that, it fits in there pretty good. Get the other side put in, then we'll figure out the trans tunnel. Then we'll cut out the back of the floor there and change it up. Got the little cover for the master cylinder covered up. Reverse the bead opposite of what this is to set it down in, so it doesn't stick up a 1/4 inch. Then I got this trimmed out a little more, get it clear. Get started on the other side. Alright, so a little bit's happened since the last time I had a GoPro. Got both sides of the floor done. Got the old floor back there all cut out. Got a new piece in here. Now I've started on the trans tunnel. Next step is going to be to make the piece from here to here, and then also clearance this area out a little bit more, so when we go to pull the motor out, the bolts in the back of the bell housing doesn't hit the firewall. And then I'll get the toe boards made after that. Got the toe board in. Just held down the Cleco clips for now, but gotta add a little bit to the existing firewall where that was there. I got the trans tunnel here all made up. Then I'm gonna get a little round hammer and dolly and hammer that up so it has a curve to it instead of a straight transition. I got that piece welded in. I had to split it right there because the previous person had put a panel together there and it wasn't set right. So it stepped up onto the left side here. step down, and then I'll hammer and dolly the rest of that out and get it flat. Go ahead and grind all this off. Alright, we got that piece all cleaned up. Next step is just going to be to round this edge off here and get it finished up. We're going to be doing pretty much the same thing as we did there. Just a little round die on the bead roller, and then we're just going to weld it in and then finish it out with a grinder and then DA. Alright, so we're on the driver's side now, making the toe board. All I did was replicate the passenger side toe board and then modified it just a little bit for the brake pedal to go through the floor. I'm gonna test it out, make sure the brake pedal is not gonna hit the metal when I make it out of the metal, and then we'll get it made up. Alright guys, we got the floor all done in there, so we're moving outside now. Gonna cut this seam out, put a panel in there to make it nice and flat. I already did this side. I wanted to go ahead and do one side to make sure everything was going to flow nice. All we're going to be doing is just taking this, spinning it over. I need to get the curve from front to back the way it needs to be. Go ahead and start slightly bending the top there with our hands, and then we'll finish it out with a planishing hammer. Then we'll cut it out and get it welded in. I got the panel made up, held down with some Clecos and put the layout fluid on it. So got it marked. We're gonna get ready to cut it out. Alright, I got the panel tacked in, ground down the spot welds. For the most part, it's pretty level across. Got a couple areas that I'm gonna hammer and dolly out just to bring them up on the same plane. And we'll go through and weld it solid and then run the planishing hammer over it to finalize it. Alright, we got that panel welded in, hammered and dollied out. We got the gas tank in, so now I'm going to get that mounted up so I can finish the floor out and make sure everything clears once the gas tank is in. We got the gas tank in. It's all bolted up where it's supposed to be. Next step is going to make the floor. Everything had cleared from the template, so I think we're good to make it out of the metal. I already had the template somewhat made up. All I did was draw the template, or the bead roll pattern out in it, and then we're gonna mark it out. This section here is gonna be over top of the fuel pump and float. So we're gonna make a 3/4 inch flange all the way around, and we'll have another piece that bolts onto it so we can access it. All right, we've got the floor pan bead rolled, bent up. Got the access panel put in. I just made it the same shape as the bead roll itself. Put some rib nuts in, screwed it down. We cut the back side out. So we'll have all that area to get in there to access the fuel pump and the float and the wiring and hoses and all that, so we don't have to worry about removing the body to get to the tank. Because the way the tank is set up on these, it bolts in. It sits on top of the frame, bolts come from the bottom of the frame. So it'd be a little bit of a hassle to get the tank out with the body on and all that without modifying it a bunch. We got the floor in. A little bit of a struggle just because how tight everything was fitting, but we got it in there. Fits nice both sides. Follows the contour of everything. So I'll pop this piece off here next and show you what's underneath there and how you can get to the fuel pump and all that. Just pulled the panel off. So we got a little 1/2 inch flange all the way around there with some rib nuts in there just to allow it to bolt in. But to get the fuel pump, the level, you got plenty of room to run your lines and all that. You've got room to get down in there, so just in case something happens with it, you don't have to worry about pulling the body off. So after we get the floor in, we're gonna make a little panel here. Just because I wasn't able to get the floor and this piece in at the same time, wouldn't be able to flex. So I'm gonna make it out of two separate pieces. It's just gonna come up, it's got a bend here, and just weld it together. I'd already made it up. We're gonna do it in two pieces just because of the angle of approach on it. All I did was put it on the metal brake with a pipe to get the radius. That's about it. So we're gonna make this in two pieces. I ain't able to fit it in there in one. I got this one tacked up It's just a little too tight through the center here, so we're gonna go through with the body saw and cut it. And then we'll get down in there and cut that section out and mark it. So once we cut the tack weld here and up there, and one on the other side, that I can just drop it right down in there and tack weld it in where it needs to be and then work it. All right, we got the two pieces welded in, not completely. Once I get able to get back there, I'll get it finished up. Other than that, just ready to grind it down.
Man, Joseph killed that floor pan. What do y'all think?
I mean, seriously, check that out. And a little gas tank panel, genius.
If y'all enjoyed part 2 of the Coyote swap, be sure to let us know in the comments below. Like Joseph mentioned earlier, you can get caught up on episode 1 of the 37 Coyote swap. Link in the description. We've got a shop full of fun, and I'm not telling you which 2 cars are on the roster, but you can keep an eye out on our Instagram story this Monday, and then you'll be able to vote for Friday's video. It'll be fun, I promise. Until then, y'all can follow us on social media to stay up to date on what we're doing in between episodes, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.